Cheers. To our first time.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We're not going to introduce ourselves.
This is the Milah Show. Welcome, everyone. This is Milah Map and Milah Maps +1. That's not a good intro?
No.
What is it about women not being solution-based?
That's the most crockish shit I've ever heard. Women are the most solution-based species that there are.
Okay, what's a good intro for you?
I don't know. I thought you had it together.
I'm Orlando.
And I'm Milah.
And together we are Jam.
We're starting over.
Okay.
Love like this.
Welcome to Love Like This, very good, beautiful people. I'm Orlando, also known as Orlando, also known as the Big Dick Bad Bitch. I don't want to take over the show, though. It's not only all about me. My beautiful woman, Milah Map, is also here. Milah Map, say hi to the good people.
Hi, everyone.
Now, me and Milah have been working on this, specifically this intro, for a good 15 minutes. So I'm hoping that I'm really coming with it right now. How do you feel about it, baby?
Sounds great.
Do I sound like do I sound like myself, how I am on the mic usually?
You do.
I feel like myself again. Do you know why I feel like myself?
Why?
Because of you. Am I peacocking?
Yep.
Come on, baby. Roll with me. Keep up, nigga.
I don't need to keep up. You're doing enough for the both of us. Per the usual.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, let's get serious. Honestly, me and you have been thinking about doing this, like just sit down, speaking, discussion this. Our love journal? Our audio love journal?
Lovecast?
Our love. Ooh, nice. See? You need me to bring that energy. Now that brain is flowing, baby. Okay, so we're doing a love cast, right? We're journaling our stories and also hoping that people can feel this energy, right? Yes? No? Can you work with me here?
I'm trying to jump in like double dutch.
Okay.
You know, you are such a fucking podcaster and you have such high energy. You know, my biggest concern was where am I going to fit in here? This is, it's interesting podcasting with you because you are quite the character.
Yeah, and I do feel mostly comfortable with high energy, movement, hand talk, ha, boom, puns, metaphors,
glitter. Got it.
I feel good like that. I don't want to do too much though, because this is more than just us.
You can never do too much, my love. I don't know if I can keep up, if I'm going to do enough. I think that eventually we shall find our flow, though.
Is that like a worry when like dating me, before even in the relationship, but like dating me, like he's doing a lot.
Definitely when I first met you, I was like, I didn't think that you were my type because you just have a lot of personality, and I think I was trying to figure it out, and I figured out that it is just your personality. I didn't know if you were just being on all the time, but I was like, this is a weird fucking guy. And I was right. But first I judged you, and then I loved you, and now...
What does judge me look like?
I just was like, I wasn't thinking romantic thoughts.
Oh, you thought I was gay.
I did.
You said that. Tell the truth. This is our love journal. We're telling the truth. You thought I was gay.
I didn't think you were my type.
Because you thought I like men.
Because you were wearing a crop top?
That means I like men.
No.
This is 2023, Milah. Jesus.
I didn't say I think you liked men. I thought maybe, I didn't know. I was just like, he's a little feminine for my taste. I don't know about the crop top. But that didn't stop you. That didn't stop me from hanging out with you, but my intention was not that it would be romantic.
Truly, what didn't stop us from hanging out was the fact that I said that we're going to be friends.
I knew they were going to be friends. Yeah, I knew we were going to be friends.
I'm going to be friends with that little one. The little one that looks tall.
That was your biggest concern, whether I was
like,
short
is
or
tall or not? This woman is confusing.
Not am I tall or not. That was your biggest concern.
You're fine though. You're fine as fuck.
You thought I was fine as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So you had romantic thoughts towards me.
No. Hey. Yes, but those are strictly meant for my mind and my pleasure personally. Those are romantic thoughts that I had about you.
What do you mean for your mind and your...
I'm just joking around.
Okay.
You looked really sexy on Instagram. You were really attractive, but truly I was like, she looks like a good time, like to hang out with and be a friend with.
What is a good time? Because I think generally if a woman looks like a good time, that means like...
Yeah, I know. It means sexual, but I mean in a platonic way. Like
I look like fun.
Yeah, you look fun. Like if I'm hanging around with you, you're going to be a fun person to hang out with. But it's so interesting that now I'm just deeply, madly in love with you, right? But my first instinct, I didn't get that's my wife. You know, when people see... When men say they see women and be like, "Oh yeah, that's my wife." I knew that was her.
You didn't know it was me.
I knew I wanted to be.
Now you can't even say that at our wedding.
Well, you know, when I saw Jamila, she really wasn't.
She looked like a good time.
She was what I needed, but not what I wanted.
You guys, I've forced him to binge watch Marriage at First Sight, and we're like 2 seasons behind. And unfortunately, I recently discovered that there's 23 episodes, and that they're each 90 minutes each. And so we've watched 3 episodes.
If you're listening to this now, this is being recorded at 2 a.m. in the morning.
It's
it's
10 p.m.
We plan to start recording at 3.
I'm a night person. I think that our set looks better at night.
Nipples is out at night.
Nipples come out at night.
The nipples come out at night.
Unless you're me, in which case they come out at all hours. What were we talking about?
I was intent on being friends with you because I didn't have that she's going to be my wife when I first saw you. But I was like, she's going to be...
You're full of shit. If I was like into you that first night, you would have been with the shits.
Yeah. But
okay, but you didn't see wife.
Yeah, I saw a friend. I saw somebody that I wanted to be around.
Yeah,
I think is a great foundation.
Yeah, I do think it was a how do you say, like a even playing field. There was no expectation. It was just, I definitely didn't I wasn't like thinking you're going to be my man or that we're going to date. I was just like, this is an interesting guy. We could be friends. And I think we shared some things like the first time. It's our first official in-person conversation is recorded because it's on Good Mom's Patreon.
Shut up.
But he was saying some crazy shit, and then I was too, and I was like, we could be friends.
Yeah, you were telling me about how a guy wore your socks and started twirling very daintily.
I was hanging out with this guy, and he was It was late night, and I noticed he like pulled up my thigh-high socks, and I was like, "Is he wearing my socks?" And didn't say anything, just discreetly put my thigh-highs on, and I was really intrigued to see where this was going. And then he did, and he was like not a guy you would expect to. Honestly, the guy in the crop top is who I would probably expect to put on my thigh-highs, but this guy was like a Rasta. And he had like long dreads, and I didn't see that coming. And
Rasta schoolgirl.
And then he like slowly, schoolgirl-esquely, like slowly, like daintily around, like twirled.
Am I pretty in my little socks?
And I was just I was intrigued. I was just like, I didn't see this coming. And I shared this story the first time I met at Orlando.
And then would you say... You started giving him head in the
I started giving him head from the back in the socks.
Yeah. And then my weird ass goes, "Oh, you started giving him head from the back in socks? I'm intrigued."
Oh, that's what you said in your head.
It's my head, yeah. Nipples coming out again. You are the most nipple out shirt today. I want to jump over here and get at you.
How are we gonna blur it out?
Oh, we'll figure it out. I might just keep it for my own personal. Know what I'm saying?
This is not plug talk. Ebony plug talk.
Plug talk. We're coming. There's a lady.
There's an opening for that.
There's an opening for us.
Because I personally don't want to see either of them fuck, especially not each other. So
But I'm pretty sure people will pay to watch us fuck other people. Yo, if we continue to be friends, right? And we were really like, yo, this nigga be wildin'. We could only be friends. We'd be a great, like, tag team friend. Like
what
a threesome friend. Like, yo, you want to link up? Like, I got this other girl. Or you be like, yo, this dude or this other division want a threesome. Like, you want to pop in?
Well, I could see that. If we were... I would be more inclined to use you as a MMF candidate if we weren't in a relationship. I could see that happening just because I'm like...
We'd be great sex friends. Like, as far as, like, not fucking each other. I don't think fucking each other is fuck buddies, like, forever. But, like, yo, let's go on a trip and...
Well, that was kind of the plan.
Oh, and then, yeah, it did happen.
I thought...
that was a plan for me to be a vacation fun buddy? I kind of like that.
Well, once we went on vacation, I was like, I could go on vacation with him again, which was only 3 weeks after we met. But yeah, I guess this is a story of, I guess you never know what's gonna happen. Because when we very, very first met, it was through a podcast in 2020 on fucking Zoom, and you sent me and my best friend a picture of your dick within like 8 seconds of knowing you.
You know, now that you're saying this out loud, right? I'm rethinking in my mind, right? That if, as a guy, I was going to walk down the aisle and my best man was right there, and then it popped in my head that, oh yeah, my first meeting of my wife was her sending a pussy pic to me and my best man.
Would you still marry me? I wouldn't. That didn't happen.
Oh, no, it happened. And
the opposite, though.
Oh, yeah, but, yeah, if that happened the opposite, yeah, I'll still marry you.
Okay, well,
that's really,
why we're here.
It's just really interesting that I never thought that.
I guess we flashed our tits to you and your co-host.
Well,
and then,
it's a good thing because it's never going to be my best man, so I think I got the upper hand here.
You do. Most women would have a problem with that. But you know what? Honestly, when I saw that picture, it didn't look that big. And
Whoa!
I now know that it is.
Whoa!
But I told her, I was like, She's like, it looks big to me. And I was like, whatever.
I'm not, what do they say? I'm not. Yeah, doesn't do anything for you.
I was just like, it doesn't look that big. I wasn't trying to slut myself out, so I wasn't. I thought you were both attractive men. You know, it's like they're cute, but I wasn't pressed.
I mean, when I saw your titties, I didn't think they were that big anyway. But come to find out, they were.
They're not.
They are beautiful, big and beautiful.
I guess the moral of the story is that there is truly no expectation upon meeting. I think for you there was a.
Oh, yeah, that's going to happen when you have the window open. Welcome to LA, everybody.
This is Hollywood Hills.
It's Hollywood. Welcome to Hollywood Hills. Listen, if you're watching this on YouTube, when we create a YouTube, we got to do that. We are going to create a YouTube so you can see this on YouTube on this beautiful scenery behind my lovely, darling Milah Mapp right here, who is also a sexologist now.
I'm a sexologist. And tantric.
Come on, with some energy. Come on, I'm going to put some clapping hands behind this.
This is my sexy voice. You should have introduced me like this to begin with. This is why you need a fucking intro. I am Milah Mapp. I'm a sexologist and tantric practitioner. And those are currently my titles, and along with a list of other shit. Yeah. Like the studio owner of this here studio that we're recording in. Shout out to Good Media. And I'm also an author.
Ooh.
I'm also a retreat leader.
Yes, you are.
And that's all for now.
Okay, cool. When we create the YouTube, you're going to see this beautiful scenery behind you. And yes, so if you feel like that is your moral of the story, I think the moral for me was saying yes. Just to like being open, just be like, yo, let's do this. Let's try this. Hey, you down for this? And there's both of us just going with everything. You're wonderful.
You're wonderful.
Stop it. You're going to make me blush. That's where we're going with this.
I think where we're going with this is first meetings. Mm-hmm. And when the seeds are planted, what that looks like. And I think a lot of people have this huge expectation, like you said, that you're going to see someone and be like, that's my husband. Yeah. And that's just rarely how it actually goes. Hence, us. Mm-hmm. So just a little background on us. We met 3 years ago on Zoom during a pandemic, podcasting. Mm-hmm. Isn't it funny that now here we are at our first podcast episode, and that there was zero expectation, or on my part there was like, I thought I knew you were handsome, but I wasn't like attracted to you. But I hung out with you anyway, and we did mushrooms, and I
told you I was your blessing.
You did tell me that you were my blessing, in which case I said, this nigga is very weird. And I did not take it seriously. I didn't even know what the fuck you meant by that. You're telling me not to try. You thought we were friends. You're telling me I'm your blessing. We were on mushrooms, which I wouldn't recommend doing mushrooms on the first date. But it wasn't a date. We were just hanging out. Let's try these out again. And I think that's kind of the magic. There was really no expectation, and so we're just like, fuck it.
That's a good point. That the magic is in no expectations. Because I up until meeting you, thought that when I would meet like the person or my person, that there would be this immediate like boom bam sparks fly. And my girlfriend right before you is who I had that with, but my fiance. Sorry, I'm sorry. I won't call her my fiance. I'm sorry,
babe.
Sorry, I'm just joking. So I would have thought that that's what I would have, and then you hear people say like that's what they had, so you look for that now, right? And then I think that what garners or what builds up this high expectation, and what like the expectation that men put on women, because they feel like my wife is going to be this boom big pedestal, and we're going to put her on it, and then she's going to have like all these expectations, and she's going to be so great, and she's going to be able to do all these things, and she's going to look this way. And then when it doesn't happen like that, it's like, it feels like this big disappointment. And it's just to say that I think everyone just puts this this heavy expectation on the first meeting, and what it should look like, and then what happens after that.
You thought I was out of your league, didn't you?
So I should just start with the friendship, right? Maybe I can't really get to it like that, but no, I didn't think anybody was out of the big bad.
Those are lies. I saw the bitch before me. No, I don't know. I guess women think that too. Like, it's gonna be like, immediately that's your husband.
Yeah.
But you know what? To be honest, I was like freshly out of a relationship.
Yeah.
I'm not really a relationship girl. I'm not really someone who's been in a ton of relationships. Mostly the like more serious-ish ones were when in my 20s, and they were with women. Mm. And then the last one I was in. Yeah, I'm like a fake lesbian for a minute. But what was I going to say? Oh, I think what actually saved us was that I was very much like, fuck relationships, fuck men. Mm-hmm. And the last relationship that I was in was like a guy who was a little bit older than me, and really wanted to be married. And I thought that was really great. And he was like, showed up very serious, which I needed, because I don't think that's not my forte. I'm not the one to be like,
take the stand.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on free dates until the fucking wheels fall off. And then as soon as you start asking me where we're going with this, I'm gonna ghost you.
Oh, okay. Learn something new.
I'm not really like I'm always like, what did you think was going to happen? I usually feel like I'm the least interested. Anyway, he was a really nice guy, but we weren't really compatible in a lot of ways. But again, it was a pandemic, so there was a lot of need for companionship. Mm-hmm. And like I said, he was older. He was talking about buying a house. He had a good job. He really wanted to be married. But we really weren't compatible. We were like not sexually, I wasn't super attracted to him. And
you can't be having bad sex during the pandemic.
I mean, I tried.
The world's already too close to the end to be having bad sex.
He had a big dick, so I thought I could make it work, because women often think like
big dicks just make it
work.
No.
Yeah, it didn't. It didn't work out for me that way. So anyway,
it works in my case, but I understand why you say that.
Anyway, long story short is I cheated on that guy, and I felt really bad about it because he found out because he went through my phone, and that's not also my thing, but I felt really bad. So I think probably about a month after that is when you came tumbling in from New York. And I was just like, you know what? I took this really strong stance that I wasn't going to be a hoe anymore. I was like, I'm going to chill out. I just cheated on this nice man. I lost my serious boyfriend-ish, even though we've been dating maybe like 3 or 4 months. And so I wasn't trying to be on any hoe shit. I was trying to be very much myself because I thought that was probably where I fucked up with that guy. I was kind of forward, but I wasn't being real with myself. Like, you are far too much for this little nerd. And it wasn't even that he was a nerd, that he was like a prudish nerd. So let me clarify. I don't have anything against the nerds, but this motherfucker was just 41 and prude.
This motherfucker.
He was just prude. He wasn't very sexual. Yeah. And so I cheated, and then I felt really guilty. So I think when I met you, and I told you that story about the nigga in the socks. I thought this would be my bestie, and then I also just had this really serious conversation with myself where I was like, I'm going to lead with honesty. I'm going to be who I am, a sexual deviant sex kitten.
Ooh, that's who you are, baby.
That's who I am.
That is who you are.
So, and I think a lot of women fuck up thinking that they need to present in this, like, I don't know how you say, like, coyish. Yeah. Like, oh, me, I've only slept with 3 guys. Like, no, bitch, you haven't. Because you're not 16. And also, like, it's just ridiculous. And I think a lot of women fall into that because there's just so much, there's not a lot of acceptance for sexually liberated women. Especially doing what I do, talking about all my sexual liberation. I decided after that relationship that was highly motivated by a really good Molly that I was going to just show up as myself. And so when I met you in that crop top, initially I was like, maybe he is gay and he doesn't know it yet. I've said that a lot about people, and it's not, I was being judgy. But I also was like, I appreciated that I could be honest. And I think by like day 5 of that trip, when I started to realize that
non-stop transparency and honesty.
It was probably like 72 hours later. I'm not even gonna front. It wasn't very many. It was like 1, 2. By the 3rd day, I was like, I kind of like this nigga. I think I was more open to maybe you not fitting into this perfect idea of what I thought I liked, because I realized moments before you came into town that I would too have to, someone probably was going to have to accept me as is. So I was like, okay, crop top, whatever. And I think,
it's interesting because I never really talk about the story before, like, I met you, or like the story of like how I come up to like meeting you. Because I also wasn't on really the relationship wave, which is actually really kind of interesting for me because, as you know, I've been looking for my wife since like the 4th grade. And like there's this whole story of me just planning and working on myself so that when I get my wife, that she will have nothing to complain about. And like I said earlier, with my ex, I had this love at first sight, like big spark moment to make me think and feel like, oh.
Where did you meet her?
Through a friend of mine.
Okay.
Yeah, so I saw her in a picture through a friend of mine. Okay. And then, like, we would just talk.
So that bitch you saw was your wife, but when you saw me, you didn't see me.
Can I tell my truth?
Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Crazy. It's because I was out of his league.
So I meet her through a friend. We're just, like, talking or whatever. She's supposed to be coming up to New York. She comes up to New York, and as soon as I see her, I'm like, oh.
Which friend?
Huh? You don't know? No, not that friend. So I see her, and I'm just like, oh my God. And it was like behind her got into like portrait mode, and all I saw was her. And it was just like, oh, this is what everybody's talking about. This is the moment. I'm like, this is it. So anyway, the point is, that didn't work out. And like, I'm a crazy guy because I have this I love you, love at first sight moment. She's also the first woman whose vaginal blood that I tasted because we were having sex.
Am I allowed to say TMI or?
Oh, sorry.
No? Okay.
I thought we were just.
Okay.
I thought we were doing this.
We're doing it.
So we were having sex on there, and I just like wiped my hand, and it was at night, and I licked my hand, not realizing her blood on it, thinking, "Oh, her pussy is wet." So I think that's what also got me. Licking her
the blood bond.
the blood, yeah, because we were having sex, she bleed a little bit, and I licked my hand, thinking it was her wetness, and it was her blood. So anyway, I'm head over heel crazy about this girl, and we start talking crazy, right? And I go, "Will you marry me?" She says yes.
At what point was this? I'm happy we're doing this because there's shit I just
we gotta get out of it.
Yeah.
So, she comes up for maybe 3 to 4 days. We're hanging out these 3 to 4 days. Then she goes back to Atlanta, and maybe a day or two. Actually, I go out to drink with that same friend. I go out to drink with Chucky, right? And
So you did meet through Chucky?
No, I didn't meet her through Chucky. I go out to drink with Chucky after she leaves and goes back to Atlanta.
Okay.
And I'm out there with Chucky, and I'm telling him about this girl. Like, yo, met this girl, and now I'm throwing back the margaritas. Me and Chucky are throwing back the margaritas. And Chucky is listening to the story like, all right, cool, yeah, brother. Yeah, and he's egging me on like, word, yeah, go for it, da-da-da-da, right? And so on my way back, I'm talking to her like, yeah, I just told my friend Chucky about you. Now, if y'all don't know Chucky's one of my closest friends. Chucky's been my best friend. I met Chucky in my 20s. He's the closest person to me and knows me the best since my 20s, right? And so I hold him in a high regard. And we be having really close moments. We're talking about women and having a drink over it, right? And we talked. When I mean close moments, we've had heartbreaks. Where we went and sat down and had a drink together and just talked about heartbreaks as men.
Has he ever had a heartbreak? He's been with the same woman for
She's been breaking his heart since
then. You knew him with another woman?
So anyway, let me get to the story. I have some drinks with Chucky, right? I'm a little tipsy drunk, right? And I'm on the.
Chucky, you were not a little tipsy drunk.
You're never a little tipsy drunk with Chucky. So I get on the phone with her and I'm talking to her and I'm like, yo, da da da, and I just feel all these emotions for you and everything for you, and I just want to marry you. So this is
right after you met her.
She goes back to Atlanta maybe the next night. I go out to I'm drinking with Chucky.
And the margaritas have helped you have the realization that you want to marry this woman. Did you have sex with her while she was in New York?
Yeah. Well, she was in. That's how I licked her. Tasted her blood.
That happened the first time you met her. You fucked her the first time you've met
Not
her.
the first few days that we met.
Just like us.
Yeah.
I have a pattern. I just want to say that this suddenly. So many things make sense. Like when his friends met me and they're like,
yeah, okay, bitch.
All right, bitch.
Because I keep doing this shit.
They're like, this nigga
anyway.
loves everybody. And I'm like, he loves me. Stupid
but
bitch.
I do. So I meet this girl. I'm like, love at first sight. We hang out the first few days. We have sex the first few times. I lick her blood. She goes back to Atlanta. The very next day, I go out to have drinks with my friend Chucky. Get drunk. I'm home, in my car talking to her, parked up in my car talking to her. She's back in Atlanta. I'm in New York, and I'm like, yo, you're amazing. I told my friend Chucky about you, and I just want to marry you. And she's like, I want to marry you too. And I said, let's do it.
How old were you at this point?
Oh, fuck. It was 2018, so 5 years ago. 28? I had to be 27, 28, around that.
How many years apart are you guys?
We're the same age.
You and the girl?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just want, for everyone listening, I am 3 years older than Orlando, which probably explains why I am more pessimistic when it comes to love. I'm like, I go on free dates. I don't ask about shit. This nigga's like, I'm in love. And I'm like, I don't even know how we ended up together.
Yo, it's crazy.
So I guess it had to be somebody had to be enthusiastic
about the love.
I knew that. I was like, you know what? Whoever it is, they're gonna have to. They're gonna have to make the step because it's not gonna be me.
Yeah. So
maybe I just want to win. Maybe I'm like, you're gonna be mine.
That's not the first time that's happened to me, by the way. That
sorry, I
just want to win me. Like I'm a trophy. I'm the prize. But come on, guys. Come on, chill, ladies. Anyway, the point is, I have this crazy moment with this girl when I'm telling her like I want to marry her, and we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna get married now, right? Now we're talking about marriage. I'm telling Chucky and friends, I'm getting married, y'all. No,
if I was your friend, I would laugh at you. I bet.
They all took me seriously. Every single one of my fucking friends took me seriously.
They didn't.
Next time I know I'd have no friends. I have not one motherfucking friend. So now the point of the story is going somewhere, right? But it was just really hilarious that I wanted to marry this girl, no ring or nothing, just straight verbal, right? Also, we made rings together with thread. She threaded a ring for both of us, and we found out how to do it on YouTube. It was beautiful.
She can sew, or she YouTubed it.
We're not gonna get to that point.
Was it
skip
thick?
That? Can we skip this?
Okay, I just want to say one thing for the ladies listening. This is very important. I know I keep cutting you off, but this is very important. Because this nigga keeps referring to this girl as his ex-fiance. Which is so fucking ridiculous. And me as his girlfriend, and for like 3 years, finally I had to tell this nigga, you've got to stop calling this bitch your ex-fiance. I'm not even being a hater. It's just ridiculous. If there is no ring, there is no engagement.
It's not the point of the story.
And I don't care if she YouTubed how to thread a fucking ring. You guys are both 12.
You can't tell me that's not romantic.
Not for me, no. But thread me a ring and see what happens.
I'll save some African lives. That's what the fuck will happen if I throw a fucking ring instead of giving you a diamond.
You get a lab-grown wing.
Okay, lab-grown. Anyway. So that's how we hit it off crazy, right? Now
that's how I missed the hit it off part. Just the margaritas.
So the margaritas.
You saw her. Okay,
and then we woke up the next day and we're like, no, we still want to get married, right? So now we're telling people we're gonna get married.
I'm gonna be a mature girlfriend enough.
You stop cutting me off, right? So we can get to the point of why I'm telling this story. Okay. So because we hit it off so hard, we were like, yo, come move up to New York, right? I was also like buying a house. So I was like, yo, move up to New York. You can come live in the crib. I'm buying a house.
Come move in with me and my whole family. It's going to be great.
Yo, it is going to be great. It's going to be great.
I love you.
Chucky was in HR. Like, Chucky, go get you a job.
You had it all figured out. I guess I am lucky to be here.
Yo, I was dead ass.
Chucky never offered me a job.
You got me openings.
Chucky never offered me a job.
I'm dead fucking serious. So, in the beginning, she's with it, right? And
what was she doing at that point?
It's nothing special.
Okay. She's
with it, right? And as time goes on, she gets less with it.
Because she's like, this nigga's crazy. This nigga's dumb. But I want to know what made her less with it, because this seems like a fucking deal to me.
That's what I thought.
So you're buying a house? You have a job?
Oh, Milah, don't stop there.
You have a job for me?
Don't stop there. Milah, she said she wanted to go back to college. I bought her a brand new laptop so she could finish.
This would have been me.
Yo, this could have been you. You would have been lit. And if you was my age, we would have both been 26, 27.
Shut the fuck up. You just said you were 28.
27, whatever, nigga. One of them ages. We were 27, 28.
Don't date niggas under 30. They're slow still.
We're much faster. You got to catch us when we're 28, 29. When we're still fast. Anyway, the point of this story is we hit it off so heavy, right? And then she started to like backtrack, right? So
she was like, maybe we're not engaged. Maybe you're not my fiance.
So we get to like
ring is not it.
Yeah. So mind you, this is like late February, right?
But was there something that happened that made her like?
I'm gonna get there.
Okay, sorry.
So this is late February, right? When all this madness is happening, right? And now we're together. Okay. Saying we're engaged together. Let me
wait real quick. Was there a part where you guys were ever dating? You just fucked. You said
we were dating.
But you were engaged.
The time where we saw each other, right?
Those 3 days.
And then we blinked, right?
Okay, that was
after that one blink, that was a date.
Okay.
Then we were together after that. Love at first sight.
Got it.
Saw you first, love you, we are together. That's what it is.
Got it.
Now. Where are we? We're in October, right? And she starts having doubts.
Oh.
So I'm like, hey.
Wait, what month did you guys meet?
Late January. Okay. Late January, February.
10 months in.
10 months in, right?
We
did strong 10 months. And so, but she's having doubts as we're going on. So 10 months in, I'm like, I was
because she hasn't moved yet. Like, we're together. Why
It's
have
only
you
been
not
10
moved? Why have you not moved in? Okay, got it.
So she's changing her mind. Like, oh, it was more like, hey, next year I'm gonna move. Hey, next year summer I'm gonna move. Hey, maybe I want to wait some time. Hey, I really don't want to move away from my friends. So it started getting there.
Is her family there?
Her family's down. Everything is in Atlanta.
She's grown up there.
Everything is in Atlanta. In Georgia, right? So now I'm like, well, I get like kind of frustrated and upset, right? So I was like, maybe we should break up.
Have you ever listened to your significant other talk and then be like, am I making the right decision? Did I make the right decision? This bitch ran and
I stayed.
I didn't even get a paper ring. So. Huh.
So
am I fucking a hopeless romantic? Like, do you like me?
I love you.
Okay.
So we break up. No, we break up because I'm like, maybe we should break up. I'm frustrated or whatever, right? So then maybe a few days goes by, but we're still in contact. We're still talking. I was
you
like,
break up because she's not moving to New York. Okay.
I'm like, what are we doing here?
She keeps changing the date, and you're getting
it's periodically getting frustrated to the point where she's like, I don't think I want to move, right? Okay. So I'm like, maybe we should break up, right? So a few days go by, and she's like, no, I don't want to break up. I do want to move. I just need to take some time. I want to get comfortable. So all right, we get back together, right? And then I hit this. Right after we get back together, I hit this crazy, terrible seasonal depression, right? Now, I don't know if you ever had depression, right? But going through depression...
So at this point, you guys have been dating about a year.
10 months, right? Now we're in November-ish, right? Okay. And this depression hits me back. Now,
probably because your wife refuses to leave. I can see why. So you're alone. It's winter. Crazy
depression. Oh, I'm buying a house. Like, I'm going through all these fucking things. It's New York, whatever, right? And so I hit this crazy bad depression. Now, going through depression with somebody that doesn't know how to deal with somebody going through depression is horrible, right? It's horrible. So I get to the point, mixed up in all of these feelings, where I am like, I want to break up.
Because you're depressed and she's not moving.
I'm depressed. She's not moving. She's not helping. One of these times, one day I was like, hey, I'm just really like depressed. And she sends me a picture. She sends me a titty pic with her like this.
That's a good one. That's something I would do.
Straight facing.
That's kind of something I would do.
And I'm just like, I texted back like, yeah, these are great, but I just not right now.
Wait, you said I'm depressed and she sent you titty pics? I can understand.
Women.
I'm concerned. I'm not really good at.
So now, because I'm like in this point where like I'm gonna break up with her, right? I'm gonna break up with her. I happen to go out like a night before, right? And what do I do this night before I go out? I've never actually said. I cheat on her.
Oh wow! You tell me don't cheat.
So
many confessions.
I know, right? This is what podcasting we're doing. So I cheat on her, right? With guess who?
The bitch that from the beach?
No. Which beach?
The one that I met at the beach? How do I know?
Crazy. So now...
That was your first... You're basically a hoe.
I am still a hoe. So the very next day, wow, the story stretch. So keep interrupting me. So the very next day, I break up with her, right? And I break up with her, and like maybe the next day after that, I instantly feel regret about breaking up with her, right?
Cheat on her, you break up with her, and then you regret it.
About breaking up with her, right? So now I'm like, yo, I'm just...
I instantly feel regret.
But I'm also going through this crazy deep depression. I'm trying to work my way out of it, get my like emotions like back together and like feel regular. And so I'm telling her like, I want to get back together. I don't want to break up. Like, I'm really just going through this depression. She's just like, nah, I'm outside. Like, I'm out and I'm having fun. She's not really doing shit, but she's telling me shit just to make me more upset. Then we go to Jamaica for New Year's. And we were cool for like the first day.
A lot of significant things happened to you on New Year's.
Yeah, and this is why this shit hit me so heavy, right? We were cool for like the very first, we went to Jamaica New Year's. We were cool for like maybe a day or two. And then after that, it was just straight attitude for the rest of the time.
From you or her?
From her, right?
Why?
because we were broken up out on this vacation.
Did you tell her you cheated on her?
No, I actually never told anybody. So now, we're in Jamaica. She crazy attitude. I pay for everything, pay for her to go there and everything, right? And so now I'm like,
babe's a simp.
So I'm like, yo, I did all of this and she still didn't want to get back with me. I hit this heavy heartbreak. And I mean, like, I'm driving out to friends' houses and like crashing by them for days because I'm sad.
Nigga, you gotta get out. You are tripping.
So now, as this is not like a 1 month thing. Now I'm on this whole another 10 months of trying to get back with her over us playing this game of like, are we getting back together and trying to figure it out, me and my ex. And so after these 10 months, right, I realized, oh, we're not getting back together.
So you guys continued to, you unproposed and you guys were just broken up for 10 months.
And still trying to get back together.
And basically she never wanted to move and you were like, you're not doing shit.
Right, so 1 month, for one year, 10 months out of that, we were together and engaged. And like broken up, right? And then the following year, the first 10 months, we were trying to get back together, right? So then I realized we're not getting back together. And then around Christmas, she tells me that she had sex with somebody else, right?
This is the following Christmas now. After Jamaica.
Christmas 2019.
Ah, okay.
Tell her I can't keep doing this anymore or whatever. This like back and forth, us trying to like figure it out and like us only being into each other. And then
is that her current boyfriend right now?
I don't know. Then maybe like the next day or two, she's like, "Oh, I slept with somebody else, right? I had sex with somebody else." I'm like, "How you just had sex with somebody else?" And I just literally just said like, "Oh, you know, I don't want to talk to you anymore." How you just hop back into the game like that after saying that you love me and all of these things and da 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 da. January 1st, 2020, I started OnlyFans.
Would you say you started OnlyFans to be spiteful?
I started OnlyFans as like a fuck it. Like I've done.
Let me translate this for you. Let me translate the Aquarius talk for you. Yes, I started OnlyFans to be spiteful because this is Aquarius talk for. What did you say? What was it? I was being rebellious.
I was being rebellious.
This means spiteful.
So I was like, a word. I did all of these things, right? We got engaged. I bought you a laptop.
If you don't stop saying you engaged this bitch.
I'm doing all of this dumb shit, right? So after, I felt like, and it wasn't really like, I didn't really do anything, but I was pouring a lot of energy into her, not doing a lot of shit, just because I wanted to, like try to figure out how I can be with this woman, because I had this crazy
infatuation,
love at first sight moment, and I was so stuck on that moment that I wanted it to happen so bad that I invested 2 years of all of this shit.
You had a good first high and you were chasing the high.
Yo, no, I had good first high, and they told me that after the high, all of these things happened. So I was chasing what was supposed to come after the high, but I was never getting any.
Would you say this was like the highest attraction you've had for someone for the first time? Like
that love at first sight?
This relationship,
No,
that was not.
No.
So why did you think it was the one?
Because it was the initial.
So that's never happened. That's never happened to you like that before.
Sight, no. So now, where were we going with all of this? Oh, so now when I go through all of this, like really like pouring so much energy into this woman, and mind you, this is a lot of flights back and forth to Atlanta and New York that I'm also doing, and also flying her back and forth from Atlanta and New York that I'm also doing, right?
It's cutting into your pockets, babe.
It's cutting into my everything. Because I'm invested. I'm like, this is my wife. I'm investing into my wife and my future. So when all of this happened, and she's like, she has had sex with somebody else, I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. And then as my like, fuck it, I don't give a fuck anymore, I'm about to pour everything back into me. That's why I started the OnlyFans, and actually that's when the Big Dick Bad Bitch was born. Because I was like, I gave so much to somebody else, this is what it's going to look like if I pour back into me, and I'm all about me. And I was like, and I stopped worrying about a lot of shit. Stop worrying about what people would think about a lot of stuff, and then crop more. And I was working out anyway, and I was personal training, so more crop tops started to be worn.
So would you say before that moment of that January 2020 that you gave a fuck what people thought?
Not necessarily, but I had a level of like not doing too much. Like I would always be
I can't even imagine.
Right. But I was more so different, right? But now this time also in 2020 is when I started podcasting. So now I'm different with a platform. So
there's
now I can showcase.
There's a level of confidence.
Yeah, there's a level of showcasing you can do to a certain amount of audience, right? So if I'm around my friends and my friends introduce me to another friend, I'm like, oh yeah, this is Orlando. He's the peacocking nigga. He's a show-offy nigga, right? But now
you could really show off.
If you tell me like I'm a podcast and I'm like
now the nigga who's a peacock actually has an audience to show off.
Stage with lights and cameras and recordings, and like now it's like, oh, it's up.
You have no idea how much this was never in the stars for me.
So this is why by the time I meet you, we're just friends. I could just be chilling, and I was not like even going down that angle. And that's just where I was coming from. Why I was so open and so happy and be like, you sucking niggas dick from the back and then pulling up his socks. That's cool. Let's do shrooms later. I was chilling because I was just so on a fuck it mode because I was so. That's why it always looked like I was always so into me because I'm always pouring back into me. But I came from like almost 2 years of like pouring into somebody nonstop.
Well, I think this is an important conversation to have because I think that not a lot of people are self-aware enough to evaluate where they are and then to evaluate, am I actually ready for a relationship of the magnitude in which I'm aspiring to?
Yeah.
And like, where am I in the process? Because, you know, like I've mentioned many times, I was not looking for shit. But it reminds me, this story reminds me is like, I guess in 2018, I had a terrible friend who had recently moved back to New York. And so I started to spend summers out there in Jersey. And I met this guy who was younger than me. And he was super cute. And it's just typical, like Haitian, light skin, beard, super typical. He had a job, a really good job. He worked for the union. And at the time, I was coming up out of a really long-term relationship with my baby daddy who, like, refused to get a job. Just wanted to be, like, an aspiring rapper type shit. And I was just like, you have a job? And we dated. It was not very serious, but I got pregnant. And I think Luna was, like, 3 at the time. But he had a job. And then when I got pregnant, suddenly he was like, I want to be in a relationship with you. And I was like, no, you don't. I'm just pregnant. You want me to keep it? And then I kind of like fell for it, literally because I was in a vulnerable place in life. I just like kind of broke up with my baby daddy. And he had a job. I was like, you know what?
He had a job.
He had like it wasn't even like I guess it was a career because he was in the
union.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Like, yeah,
but
he was stable.
He was stable, and I was not. You know, I was like,
he had a stable career.
I was an esthetician. I was still like an independent business. I was not stable, and the last thing I had refused to get a job. So I was just like, this could be it, God. When I tell you. You know, the cute face and the beard and the stable job started to get to me. And I was like, maybe I do need to have a baby. Like, which is crazy because I was so traumatized after my first kid. I have no idea how I thought that this was a good idea. I had just started my podcast with Erica, and she was really fake and was like, I support you either way. And I was like, okay, how are we going to do the podcast? I was like, we can't, like, this is before Zoom. I was like, Skype? However, something was telling me, bitch, you're about to have 2 baby daddies on 2 different sides of the world, and this is not a good idea. When I tell you the day I took my ass to Planned Parenthood, she was like, oh, this is the last day you can do it.
Ooh.
And I said, the good Lord.
Right on time. He ain't never late.
Listen.
Ain't never late.
So I could have been with some other Caribbean fucking East Coast young nigga with a baby somewhere. I mean, I don't think we'd have lasted this long.
But instead, you got me.
But, you know, I stayed steady the path despite him having a job. I think he'd also mentioned he had like $10,000 saved. I'm like, $10,000. Woo! Like,
we gonna be stable. We can retire.
This is how dumb I was. This is not that long ago. It's fucking 5 years ago. But, you know, I think people... Okay, speaking of fucking love, marriage at first fucking sight. What I learned from these 3 fucking 4-hour episodes, the disease of humanity, and not even the disease, like our internal system. We are supposed to be in community. We are supposed to be in connection. Like, this is how humans thrive is in communities. You know, historically, tribe. And so, like, we do want connection and love. However, you have got to be in the right place and the stable set of mind in order to, like, embark on these things, or else you're just fucking checking off boxes. You know, like, I want to be married. I want to have a nigga with a job. He will have a career. He will want me.
They're going to want 7 kids.
Despite the fact that he wanted me only because I really got pregnant. Yeah. And we tried to be together after I got the abortion, but, like, it just didn't work out. Thank God, because the good Lord knew I would cut a nigga. But all that to say, you know, with your beautiful engagement story of threaded rings and my beautiful cheating story of I had kind of sat back in a place where I was like, I'm cool if it doesn't happen for me. I'm kind of anti-relationships anyway because my parents are kind of nuts and they've been together for a long time.
Not together, but also very nuts.
Yeah. But also I've never wanted to be like a thirsty, desperate type of bitch. And I think women have been given so much of our worth is tied to our relationship status. And so there's this thing like, if I'm like I said, like you show up a certain way because you want a nigga to keep you. Yeah. And that's so not my vibe. And I always said, like I always said to people, I'm like, I believe it's the man's duty to
initiate.
And I'm never going to initiate if a nigga, like, I could like a nigga so much. And if he's not leading the path of, like, relationship, I'm not, and I'm not going to, like, beat around the bush. So I think even, you know, we dated for, like, over a year. Like, we dated for, like, a year before we got into a relationship. Yeah. And even when we got into a relationship, we were fucking other people. But if you weren't so psycho and so adamant about being in a relationship, so obsessed, it would never have happened. It would have never happened. And I kind of needed someone as psycho as you to kind of like,
this is what we're doing.
Yeah,
take the leadership, take the reins.
Because literally, I tried to like I really got in a relationship with Orlando because I wanted him to listen to me.
This is what I need.
He was like, well, I thought you're my girlfriend. And I was like, fine. The nigga lives in Brooklyn.
You see how disrespectful niggas are? Only if you're my girl, I'll listen to you.
I still really wasn't thinking I was going to have to listen. He lived in Brooklyn. I lived in LA. And I was like, he's stupid. I'm still going to do whatever I want. And now he's going to listen to me with this title. And it worked for a little bit until it didn't. But I think that there were definitely a lot of things that had to happen for us to both arrive at a place where we could have showed up
the way we did.
We did, and it took time, and it took for me to be in a very specific place because I knew that there was a point before this that I was like, oh, you are just fucking because you want companionship and you're lonely, bitch. And I was becoming super aware of the fact that I was just going on dates to go on dates. And I was just doing shit to do shit. And because, like, I kind of didn't want to be alone. And then that was when it became scary. I'm like, girl, you are hanging out with people just for the fuck of it. And it's not fun because now you're underwhelmed. And it made me, like, super aware of my, like, I don't know how you say, like, cadences or, like, just, like, my habits and whether or not they were healthy or not. Yeah. And, you know, most of them weren't. And me and Orlando have a saying that we are Hormonogamous.
Hormonogamous.
We're whores together in our
You're a horse
relationship.
together.
But, in addition to you not showing up the way I thought that my man would show up, which was not in a crop top or calling himself a big dick bad bitch or having so much energy and camera time. In addition to all of those things, I think luckily when I did start to like you, I just came to a point where I just surrendered and I'm like, okay, well, it's not how I pictured him to be. Mm-hmm. And I really wish he would stop calling himself a bad bitch. But, he is a really nice guy. And, it worked out.
Yeah.
But I don't think it would have worked out if I wasn't in a place where I had like had done majorly questionable things,
mm-hmm.
like cheated, got pregnant by a guy who maybe had slept with one of my friends. And, that there was all these things had to happen for me to arrive at a place to be ready to accept a guy who has so much fucking energy and so much character and maybe peacocks a little bit and wears a crop top, for me to just be like, you know what, let me see who he is as a person. And the truth of the matter is I'm really cool and calm and collected and shit, but I require a lot of attention to.
There we go. Let's tell the truth. Round of applause. Tell the truth.
And we have a lot of similarities that I don't necessarily love.
Or want to admit. Tell the truth.
But when I started to realize, I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, he's just like me.
Very annoying.
Yeah.
But I had to be in a place to be able to recognize and take that and understand that, hey, you're being a little bit shallow. You're being kind of judgy. Why did you think he's gay? Because of his outfit? There was a lot of things that I had to be mature enough to evaluate. And I had to have a lot of kind of terrible experiences to be like, this guy is not judging you. He's not trying to
take anything away from you.
He's trying to be fair. He's not trying to fuck everybody else while hoe shaming you. And when those needs were met, then I was able to see past the shallow shit, which was the crop tops. and the deep amount of energy that he shows up with on a podcast and all these other things. So,
I mean, honestly, the same, because if I was at this point where I was so into myself, and that was the difference between when you had asked if I cared less now than what I did before. It wasn't about like how much I cared about what other people thought. It was that I was so into myself that I wasn't even being cognizant of how people felt around me, right? So I was doing things that I liked, doing things that I wanted, but it was because I poured into someone so much. But when I came across you, I wanted to like do what made you feel good. Or when I was saying like yes to, I just always wanted to be around you, and you knew that from like the first week. And I was like, when I said that when we did shrooms together, and I was rubbing on you, calling myself my blessing to you. After that, I just always wanted to be around you. I left LA and then wanted to go to Mexico to be around you. I changed my flight a few days earlier because I wanted to be around you. Even after we split and we left each other from when we met in Mexico from 2020 to 2021. I just couldn't wait to like. When was the time I was going to see you again? Everything just always kept going back to like having this feeling that I wanted to like be around you or see you happy or have experience with you, because the experiences we were having were also divine. Now, what makes this so interesting for me at that time was because I was so into myself, but I could not stop thinking about how I could be around you or when it can happen. And because we're on literally two of the most opposite fucking coasts.
I didn't feel like you were that pressed.
But that's the thing. I was so into myself, it doesn't seem like I was that pressed, right? I was so into myself, like really like doing whatever the fuck I wanted. But in my mind, I was thinking about when am I going to see you again? And remember, even when you came to New York, when you finally came to New York in June or July, July, I was like, yo, I'm only going to be able to see you one time for a few hours, and I'm flying out that same day. I'm going to plan my whole day around being able to see you. That's how bad I wanted to see you. I was not missing any opportunity. And then we see each other that day, and then we progressively like get to like get more into each other or like each other more. I'm telling everybody that I know and that I'm fucking that you are still number one. This is before you were my girlfriend. That you were still the number one person to me. And so which after a few months, when I come to realize that, yo, you're so into yourself, but you can't stop thinking about this girl. That's when I knew, like, okay, there's, even with how I'm feeling right now and how I feel about everybody else and what I want to do for myself and the big dick bad bitch, you are still Milah Mapp to me, and then that mattered more.
Yeah, and I met him. I wasn't attracted to him. We had this interesting night of mushroom doing. We ended up hanging out like consecutively the entire trip he was there. Like, but what he didn't disclose during this 5-day trip is that he was seeing someone in New York, and he didn't tell me until he literally left. Seeing
is a strong word. You guys keep saying seeing and girlfriend. Like, we were dating, but not dating towards going anywhere.
Let me say something to all men and to you specifically, which I've said many times.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
Men have a terrible habit of dating women consistently, seeing them multiple times a week, sleeping over.
Almost every day.
Meeting
the grandparent. Buying Christmas gifts. Going Christmas shopping. Helping out the grandparent by shoveling snow on the front steps.
This is all shit I'm hearing for the first time. But I'm happy
going to the gym together.
I'm happy that we're finally getting on the same tune. What else? Letting her work at your job or whatever the fuck.
Come on. Getting her a job. You see the pattern?
There are behaviors that are associated with relationships that men would like to say, "Oh, I told you, we're not dating." But when your actions are consistent and sync up with what it looks like to be in a relationship, a woman's mind and body automatically tells the bitch, you're in a relationship now. I don't care what this nigga is saying. And so when I met Orlando, we had this initial meeting, which was super platonic, but after a few days, it got extremely... Let me just put it this way. By the time Orlando left LA, we had sex raw, and we told each other we loved each other while we were fucking, which for us is totally normal because we're nutty people. And we had kind of discussed that it's easy for us to love and that it didn't mean that we were in love. But I kind of feel like at that point there was something definitely brewing. Mm-hmm. But then he got back home and was like, oh, yeah, there is someone that like I like see out here. And I like literally it was like a halting break. And I was like, what? Of course there is. Literally, I was like, of course. Of course there's someone you're seeing. And he continuously tried to really downplay it, but then over
I wasn't downplaying it.
It was extremely clear that it was actually more than just fucking someone. And you hadn't been seeing her that long at that point. I guess like a couple of months.
I actually knew of you first.
But you had seen her probably 5 days a week up until that point.
It's more like 7 days a week.
And so, you know, the day Orlando left LA, after we had spent like several days together, which we'll get into that on a different day. Mm-hmm. By the time I dropped him off at the airport, I was like, Before he left, I was like, do you want to go to Mexico with me? I'm going in like 3 weeks to Mexico. Do you want to come? And he was like, okay. And when he went home and told the girl that he was going, like, first of all, he'd been posting me, which is so basic, bitches. I'm like, oh my God, he's in love. He's posting me. So basic. But when he got back, the girl was irate.
Pissed.
Understandably,
who the fuck is this bitch?
Understandably so. And then he's like, I'm going to Mexico with this bitch for a week. And even I was like, I'm nuts. I don't know this man. I invited him on a week-long trip. And he has a bitch at home. Because that's what I was like, he has a girlfriend. And the bitch was so fucking pissed. And I just want to preface the podcast by saying I say nigga and bitch, and those are not derogatory terms by my standard.
Your vocabulary.
It's my vocabulary. It's cultural. I'll call myself a bitch. I'll call you a nigga. You might not even be a nigga. But just so you guys know. But overall, there were definitely things that generally would have turned me off, and I would have been like, I'm cool on all of this. I'm not battling a bitch for the nigga in the crop top. But you know what? I was just like, I'm going to play it by ear. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to ride it. I'm going to see how I feel. And, you know, he showed up to Mexico in a crop top and with a Jamaican cornrow bun.
Oh, oh God, Auntie. Ugh, I'll never forgive you.
And you couldn't tell me shit. I was like, he's so nice.
I'm a sweetheart.
You are a sweetheart. And, you know, ultimately, sometimes you think you know, but you don't know.
No. I do want to respond to that, and I want to say two things, because I want to shelf this conversation about doing too much, doing relationship shit as men, right? For two reasons, because one, it's going to be a whole conversation, and two, your ass looks so fucking fat from this angle. That shit is sexy. I want to eat you the fuck up. Oh, sexy motherfucker. Anyway, wait. Yes, there is something to be said about, you know, doing too much. Also, I'm always doing too much. I get it. I completely get it. But you know what they say, don't let your girlfriend stop you from eating your wife. The other thing was, aside from like all this,
good thing you didn't let that girlfriend stop you from eating your wife.
That's a fact. We were having amazing, crazy experiences. I said that already, which is why I just could not say no to you. So regardless of, like I said, regardless of what was happening in my life, the self-confidence I have for myself, or even anybody that I was dating or seeing at the moment, there was nobody that was going to stop me from being around you, which is why when you told me to come to Mexico, I wanted to do it. But the other thing about that was I wanted to do things with you. I came to LA and I wanted to take you all these places. I made you ackee and saltfish. The first week I met you, I wanted to do things with you, for you. And then you asked me to come to Mexico. Sure. But the other thing that I also wanted to do was like this blood play. Because I'm in this space right now where I'm wilding. I'm outside. I got the stage, baby, and the people want to see me play with blood.
AKA you had a sex podcast and you wanted to do sexy things so you could talk about it.
Right. Now, this is where it changed for me. Because it was all about doing the blood play and doing this like kinky thing, because I'm freaky and interesting and shit like that.
I'm freaky and interesting.
I'm freaky.
That's a shirt. Freaky and interesting. Hashtag freaky and interesting.
I'm gonna start using that. Hashtag freaky and interesting. It switched for me when we kept having these magical experiences in Mexico. When we saw the whales and the dolphins, we're on the night sky. We have this crazy New Year's experience. This is also going to be a whole nother thing. We should do like, you know what we should do? Like two people doing stand up, but we're like telling a story and we're doing it like, we should do it in here just standing up. Anyway.
Not standing up.
Yeah, instead of sitting down.
You know I don't stand up for no reason.
Come on, baby. It's going to be cool. It's going to be fun. The point is, we're having these magical experiences, right? And this blood play thing changes when I'm having all these amazing experiences. And we finally get to this hut on the side of this beach, on this little surf town, looking at the water. And like that day, I was like, I do want to do this blood play thing for sure. But
I reminded you.
Yeah. You reminded me, and I was like, yeah, I still do want to do it.
I was trying to seal the fucking deal.
But when I thought about all the things that we've done up until the point of like first meeting you in person to where I was at, I was like, this feels a lot stronger than just like I'm just doing this for fun.
So you felt that way?
I felt stronger. I felt like I still wanted to do it, but I felt like I wanted to do it in a different way, not just like spilling the blood over you and we're just like, ha ha ha, blood and sex. No, it didn't feel like that, which is why when I poured the blood on you and like you were just like laying there naked with my blood on your chest, why it made me want to like write my initials into it, why it made me want to just do something else than just being freaky and fun. And so I write my initials in you, and then we have this sex, and then I look and like it's smeared and gone in between. Both of us were like, "Where'd the blood go?" Remember we was like, "Where'd the blood go?"
Remember that,
like it was. I remember it smearing and it was gone. Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said you didn't remember. Okay. But yeah, so like having all these experiences really just, I don't know if I can say it changed me in the moment, but it definitely made me like make a turn to start going towards change, to start going from being so into myself as like a defense, from giving myself to somebody for so long, to then reopening what that looks like and being open to like making somebody the priority other than myself, and that person was you. And you know, regardless of whoever I was dating at the time or whoever was like in my life at the time, there was nothing that was like derailing me from like you being the path.
Were you still talking to your ex-fiance at that point?
When I was with you? What are you talking about?
Well, you guys talked last week, so that's not even this nigga.
Not like that. No, we weren't talking in that sense. No, we weren't talking to. But I was too caught up. She would hit me up when it came to like podcasting, and it was like it would like turn me off because
what do you mean? Like I saw your.
Oh,
podcast.
She wasn't fucking with me before, but as the podcast started to like build up, then she would like.
That you're famous.
Outside of very big listening in like Atlanta for some reason,
because there's black people.
Mm-hmm. So she was constantly like, "Oh yeah, this person was like they listen to your podcast and that podcast," and before she was like, it's just whack or whatever. She kind of like the same way your baby father was about your podcast.
We were very over at that point.
She was, hater. Yeah, basically. then when she started picking up, she was like, "Oh, I heard and I'm like, fuck out of here. Remember, she asked somebody to be a guest on my podcast before. You're crazy. You're left on the red.
That's nuts.
Anyway, but yeah, that after that night of the blood and us waking up that morning,
the blood was the morning before you left.
Yeah, before we left, separated from each other that time in Mexico, and we didn't see each other again for like another 6 months in July again. That was not fun. But my point is that it just really shifted something. I think that's the more accurate word. It wasn't change, but there was a shift, and then things started going down this road of like this constant obsessive urge of just wanting to be with you and wanting to be around you, and it's led us here. That bond, and it all just started not with the fireworks. It started with friendship, being honest, being open, being real with each other. And
like brutally honest.
Yeah. And
I'm seeing someone else out, but I like you. I'm still going to come to Mexico. Him posting and giving her gifts. And
kissing you in front of my friends. Like, I was, it's like we were doing a lot, but we were doing exactly what we needed to like jumpstart and kick us right back into being into each other, because we had shut down that part of ourselves. Not like 100% shut it down, but we really put that part of ourselves like to the side to be like, you know what? I've been doing a lot for a long time. I'm not going to be doing a lot anymore. And the game was like, nope.
I was just like, I'm not here to force anything.
Yeah.
I'm not here to force anything. He seems like a cool guy, and this seems like a good time, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And I think after we left Mexico, I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, there was nothing to force. And I think having no expectation and just going with the flow and being extremely brutally honest was necessary for us to get to this point. And it really gave me the opportunity to be like, damn, no one's been this honest to me ever.
Yeah.
And like, do I like it? Or at least I have a choice in all of this.
Yeah. Wow. I think, I wonder how long we've been chatting.
Like an hour. I also forgot that when the first night we hung out in my house, I told Orlando, I'm a witch.
Yeah. That was great.
And he said, okay. And I said, okay.
And that was it.
Just so you know, I'm a witch.
This just goes to show how like it's spiritual and divine, and just anyway, I guess the point of saying all this is that it's not what we think it is, but it is what we make it.
It's not always what we think it is, but
Ooh, that was nice.
It's not always what we think it is, but it could be, and doesn't always look like how we think it's going to look.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you have to look past that.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that's where the magic happens, when you get out of your comfort zone and you just say yes, and you're willing to just see wherever it takes you. And I think that is genuinely what happened here.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also, like, a lot of this podcast was going to be
this love cast.
This love cast is that there's a lot of pressure on finding your mate, falling in love, but there's not a lot of information about what you do after that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like find your mate, be in love, and there's so much pressure on that people force it and they get into fucked up situations because they just want to check off a box. But I think that the real treasure is what the fuck do we do to keep it here?
Yeah.
And, we've been rocking now for, 3 years.
Ooh, can I also make a point what this love cast is about?
Sure.
This love cast is also about the customary part, the custom part of your relationship, how you customize it. You personalize. That's the fucking word, and that's why I'm going to marry you.
Custom's good because it's personalized.
Yeah, but it's how you personalize it, how it looks for you and your person or whoever you're with, that it doesn't have to look like everybody else's, or you don't have to have exactly what they tell you or exactly what somebody else has.
You make the rules.
You make the rules for yourself. You customize it. You personalize it for what works for you, not what works for everybody else.
And one testimony we get often is, there is no one better for you than that bitch and that crazy ass guy.
Yeah.
Because we've customized.
Yeah, it's made for us. That works for us.
We've designed this specifically, and we've continuously designed it.
Yeah.
It has changed throughout this 3-year period.
Mm-hmm. And we want to let people know that you can design it your way also for you.
Yes. So if you're joining us for the first time, if you have any questions, sex or relationship or love related,
or single related,
yeah, because we're top single people. Email thejamilahmap@gmail.com.
We're gonna work. We're gonna figure out. We're gonna get the YouTube. We're gonna get the email. We're gonna get the socials. We're gonna get everything together. But I do have an outro.
Okay.
I think I have an outro, and I think it might work. Okay.
Go.
Don't say go, because then now I feel like I got to do it right now. Just let me go when I'm ready.
Oh, I thought this was the outro.
No, I'm gonna do it right now. You ready? Wait. Okay. Don't breathe because it makes it sound like you're going to speak.
We do have an Instagram.
Okay. Oh, right.
Can
you tell me the
Hoochie Mom and Dad. At Hoochie Mom and Dad.
Okay. You are at Jamila Map.
No, I'm at
Milah Map.
Milah_Map.
I am at WH_Orlando Roy. Together, we are Jam Lando. And you can follow us at Hoochie Mom and Dad. And honestly, you might not have a friendship, a bond, or a love like ours, but you can have a love like this. Does that work?
That's beautiful.
Really?
Yeah.
I was worried.
Great.
Bye, y'all.
Better than the intro. Bye.
I never knew there was a love like this.